It's
but
true.
I mean, I think this team. I think the team has the right to say no to that.
And it does seem like they are saying that.
So we are in the draft.
We are. And you should see the draft on screen, which yay, I think we do.
So we
Booyah.
have a Zagara band from Young Woodies
Oh, it's going to be so much fun. I love that we've cast these guys before.
and FSU.
And we've cast FSU as well.
They are taking their time with this band. Um,
So, this is Blackheart's Bay. We don't get to see this map too much, Josh.
Blackheart's Bay has actually made sort of a resurgence in the competitive scene for some weird reason, but yes, we do not see this map that often. Overall, it's pretty strange. Young Woodies sign on
So,
the thrall.
yeah, and a Tracer ban from FSU. Not super surprising, as she, especially in the right hands, can be quite strong right now.
Good job by the Young Woodies to not ban that though. Like give
No,
themselves an
they wanted
opportunity to
it.
play
Yeah,
it.
they
Yeah.
wanted it. That was a good grab, especially because she went general availability today.
Yep. And if you haven't checked out that loading screen or the menu screen, it's pretty great. So go
Yeah,
check that out.
and the music,
Oh, it's
so
beautiful.
good.
I love it.
So we got a Falstad pickup by FSU. So we've seen this before from FSU, and they do play a very mean Falstad.
Yeah, and the Li Ming to follow up is really good. I'm interested that they've prioritized Li Ming over Kael'thas. Because we've seen recently
Oh,
Kael'thas is, and there it is.
there it
Yeah.
is.
Uh,
So Jaina's
cool.
fallen out of favor big time.
Yeah, and I honestly don't blame people for not picking her because just compared to Kael'thas right now and also Li Ming,
Mm-hmm. She's
um,
she's 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 low tier right now, honestly, which is crazy.
yeah, no, it's really weird to see that because they like for the longest time Jaina was just like that you take her for burst,
Yeah,
and Kael'thas had that whole period where he was sort of on the bench.
which is weird because Jaina hasn't been changed that much, like at
No,
all.
no, it's just that she's been outclassed by other mages, in my opinion. Like she hasn't gotten substantially worse. They have changed her a little bit, but she hasn't really gotten worse. It's just that other mages are better right now.
Yeah,
And we do see ETC ban on the side of FSU
FSU. Yeah.
after the Zeratul ban. So Zeratul's kind of an interesting ban.
Yeah, maybe they've seen some of FSU's games. Maybe they're scared of a certain deal. I mean, Zeratul still in the right hands can be absolutely, terrifying. Maybe they just want to take that Void Prison out of the equation and don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, it's quite possible, and they're gonna FSU is gonna leave their support to last year, picking up Muradin and Sylvanas.
Okay.
Definitely a strong pairing here. Sylvanas capable of either pushing at the bottom lane on this map, or
Mm-hmm.
she actually could go mid and have Ballstad go bottom and
Yep.
have a more unified push in mid or top. So I guess we'll see what they choose to do with her. I think we'll probably see Wailing Arrow against what we have seen from Young so far.
Probably. They've got a lot of melee, and there's their third melee. They pick up Tahaka, which is
Yep.
a cool pickup for sure. But yeah, that's a lot of melee. Wailing Arrow could definitely do a lot of work. Um, what could they pick up that we could possibly see a specialist? Maybe Azul
Yeah.
could work, especially with all the high mobility that FSU has to lock that down a little bit. But
The only thing about Zool is I think like his curse strikes won't get a ton of mileage. It will help
yeah,
out on Falstad, but for the most part, Sylvanas not likely to be in range, and even then, her auto attacks are better than they have been in the past, but she still does a lot of damage to the Q and the W. So I don't know.
yeah,
Like he's good at pushing a lane, like you said. He could easily go bottom and
yeah.
contend with Sylvanas or Falstad, depending on what they choose to do. And there you
Yep,
go. You
there it
called it.
is. Yeah, there it is. So I think it's good. I think that's a solid pick, especially for laning. They've got two very solid laners now. And then we have Brightwing. So we have two major global presence from FSU's side. That could be pretty strong.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how the Brightwing works out. Obviously, against a Thrall or even against a Dahaka, uh, the polymorph is quite strong.
Yes, very much so.
Um, and I'm interested to see how that works out. I think we'll probably see Blink Heal given the burst potential on the side of young Woodies. But I guess you could go Emerald Wind if you feel confident.
Yeah.
I don't know. There
Well,
is a lot of melee, so
Emerald Wind is much better now too because you get an 8% boost to your soothing mist healing, your just general, tick healing, which is
yeah.
awesome. And like you said, there's so much melee now that Emerald Wind I could see being really decent against splitting this team.
Actually is pretty good. I will say. I don't know if that's what we'll see just because of the burst potential, but being able to force back Zool, in some ways sort of negate the bone prison potentially.
Mm-hmm.
And even like a Thrall Sundering, like if Brightwing is able to get out and throw it down right away.
See, and that's
um,
that's kind of what I was thinking too. That could be a huge negator to that Sundering to kind of or keep it from being super effective, especially if she doesn't get caught in it.
the only thing that I would caution is that if one of your allies is attached to Dahaka's tongue when you blow Emerald Wind, that won't be too good.
No,
So you got to be careful. But
no.
um,
It could be good disengage from Azul Bone Prison too.
yeah, no, definitely, it's going to be really good against Bone Prison. But I think I don't know. I think for safety, I'd like to see Blink Heal just because we do
Sure.
have Sylvanas Li Ming very low health. Falstad also not a high health hero. And so I really worry about being able to keep the team topped up, especially with those
Yeah.
Kael'thas Qs and Ws
Yes.
everywhere.
Because Kael'thas is very strong right now, for sure. 'Cause
Absolutely.
his little balance. There's a balance patch tomorrow, so I'm actually looking forward to our Thursday game because Rexar's getting a little buff and Butcher's
Don't
getting a little buff as well.
don't pretend that Rexar is going to be viable on Thursday.
Oh well, we try.
Try.
So over on blue side, youngest Woodies, we have Hariagi on Rhaegar, Cartwright on Dahaka. Not like this on Kael'thas. Young Woody, the youngest of the Woodies, on Zool, and Philly 2X on Thrall.
And then on the side of FSU, we have Shambulance on Li Ming, Muradin being played by Slambo, Talonasty on Falstad, and then the dumb pair dumbing on Brightwing and Dumb Hawk on Sylvanas. So, nothing too crazy for talents from what I can see. Pretty much what you'd expect. Reverberation from Muradin, of course, against the Zool Thrall lineup, looking very good, for sure. Look at this party bush up top, though,
There's
by
a
the
party
young Woody.
bush.
That's a scary party bush, because you don't actually expect them to be there, honestly.
No.
So I guess we'll see if they do anything with this, or if this is just defensive. This is like China. Look at this. It's like a demilitarized zone TBK.
Yeah, it's a stare down. Okay. It's 3v5 now, though. Slambo jumps a little early, doesn't quite negate the Bone Prison, because if you time your Dwarf Toss correctly, you can completely negate the Bone Prison because you go unstoppable. They're going to go ahead and grab this bottom chest very, very quickly with young Woodies not being able to rotate down fast enough.
Yeah, and it looks like this bottom chest, young Woodies are actually going to get the majority of the coins. Tallahassee actually gets a couple of coins there with the steal. The chain bomb spreading to Brightwing, a lot of damage going out. They're going to push back to Haka. No immediate pressure here, and just going to be a disengage.
Josh, I must take a moment to say how nice it is to have smooth gameplay. Because right now, I used to. This is 1080p 60 FPS. This is new computer. We're pro town right now.
Oh, that new computer smell, and
It
also
smells so
display
good.
output. Yes.
It smells so good. I did want to point out too, while there's not a ton happening, we got Woody's rotating to the top. One of the big reasons Tracer is banned on this map, not because she's just strong, which she is. She can go through the chests almost instantly.
Oh yeah. And actually, in the top here at the Vision, they're going to put some pressure onto Haka, Talenasi, and Slambo, making some damage happen. Look at this Sylvanas Thrall bottom lane, and
Yeah.
Li Ming has been lurking around there, but gonna ultimately just try and turn in her coins, it looks like. And Zool is maybe gonna sniff this out. No, he doesn't. He's going bottom to potentially gank. And then the top, ooh, Talenasi in a ton of trouble. He realizes he's, oh wow, nice barrel roll
Yeah,
to
beautiful
get
barrel
through.
roll. And
He knew that
Dumming jumps up just in case too.
yeah, he knew he was in trouble, and you could see that he was like calling for the Brightwing assistance, but in the end, it wasn't really necessary. Slambo now laning against Kale and Rhaegar here in the mid, and also Dahaka, so he's got to be careful.
Yeah, so Sham's at the bottom trying to clear up this Zool. Zool's definitely going to outpush Li Ming
Yeah.
for a while. Sylvanas was just going ahead and grabbing the Siege Giants, though. So there'll be a nice push in that lane. And Zool actually kind of in a little bit of trouble. They didn't actually go for him to knock him off his mount. Bone Prison goes down on Sham, but he's going to be fine. Brightwing ports back in, and now we got a three-man push on the bottom.
It's actually kind of a victory in a sense for the youngest Woodies because it forced Brightwing to come down. Zool's just going to clean this up. There's no push going with it. It looks like FSU is going to get the turn in,
Yep.
but at the same time, Dahaka and Kale and Rhaegar are all soaking the top two lanes, and they're getting ahead on XP. Like they're almost a full level ahead here as FSU secures the first cannon turn in.
FSU does come in behind the youngest Woodies. Harry Augie is taking quite a bit of damage as well as not like this. Slambo is running backwards though. Brightwing forced to teleport up to help. Cartwright getting extremely low. Beautiful stasis by him though to keep him alive, but it was not enough. Li Ming comes in. Dumphock has to run backwards and he ends up dying as well.
What a messy team
Wow,
fight.
that
People
was-
realizing that they were dead and just trying to take one more person with them to the grave. I love it.
That was definitely a super messy team fight, Josh.
Yeah, and
it was a 2-for-1, so FSU did come out a little bit ahead. They evened up the XP, but at the bottom, Zool is pushing hard.
yeah, and we now both level 7 for both teams, and really looks like a kind of a combination build for Li Ming. Piercing bolt for Murden, that's pretty standard. Really, a lot of it looking very standard at this point, TBK.
Yeah.
Rhaegar did take cleanse, so that is something to watch out for in some of these later team fights, because there are quite a few stuns available. There's a polymorph available, so
Yeah, possible
a lot
stun
of things
from
to watch out.
Falstad, stun from
Yeah.
Muradin, like you said, poly from Brightwing, so that's probably a good pickup at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Gonna have to
Talenasi kind of scoping this out. Young Woody is going to have to be really careful as he tries to get this chest. Talenasi is going to come up behind him, and now he's trapped between both of them. Misses the hammer, though, so this could actually cause him, yeah, that causes the gank to not quite go as they wanted. And now it's Talenasi who's on the retreat.
Yeah, no, but he did buy enough time for Shambulous. Shambulous, though, Dahaka comes out of the bush. Cartwright putting so much pressure on Slambo. Ooh, the
Oh,
jump
no.
is early. Bone Prison gonna land. Slambo in a lot of trouble. His team's just trying to deter the enemy with damage, and it looks like they will. So great job from
Yeah.
Dumbhawk as well as Talenasti to make sure that they were able to help their teammate get away from that fight.
Dumbhawk came down at exactly the time he needed to, and I think his presence scared them enough to not chase in further, which
Yeah,
is exactly what they wanted.
Absolutely, and that was the other thing is that Talenasti actually at the beginning of that sequence, he zoned out the Zool, and the result was Shambulance getting the coins like
Yep.
right before that fight had
And it
started.
worked out really well.
Yeah, he was doing the right thing.
So Woodies does go ahead and pick up the Knights on the bottom. Those guys are going to push in, try to get that fort. Shambulance and Slambo trying as much as they can to stop them. But now Woodies are getting their first turn in.
Yeah, and I think FSU is probably aware that that was about to happen, but
There's
because
not much they can do about that, honestly.
they had to respond to bottom lane, right?
Yep.
TBK, they had to clear out that minion camp, and so they decided, you know what, let's do our own bruiser during this period of time because we can't contest mid and we have to hold bottom. So actually, pretty good decision making from FSU because when you know you're going to lose a turn, and you might as well do something with your time.
Yeah, and they did. They got their Knights. They cleared up bottom. Their Giants are back up. They'll probably start doing those soon. But Thrall is about to pick his up at the same time. So we've seen a lot of activity at this bottom lane.
Yeah, you're right. There's been a couple 2-on-2s, 1-on-2s, etc. And obviously Brightwing and Falstaff could both go down there whenever they want, as well as Dahaka. So there's definitely that global feeling where anybody could pop up at any time in that bottom lane and make something happen.
Well, and this is just a very globally stacked game we're seeing. We've got Dahaka, who's completely global. We have Brightwing, who's completely global. We have Falstad, who's basically global. So there's a lot. We haven't seen much from the Dahaka yet, as far as that scariness just appearing places. And it looks like we do have a burrow coming in, but it's a 4v2, and these guys are a little far away from the rest of their team.
And Slambo doing a really good job. He's zoning out the Kale body blocking. Young Woody drops Skeletal Mages. Not really doing a lot yet. Slambo avoids the Bone Prison. And it looks like FSU might try and just pull out of your TBK.
Yeah, and there it is. Tallahassee with a gust for the disengage. They knew that they didn't quite have what they wanted. Wailing Arrow did come out, but it only hit one. And that was before anybody else came in. Brightwing forced to go down to Shambulance, and so Young Woodies, they decided it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, that was actually a really great decision by Dumming to come in there and just be like, yeah, do you want to do it? Do you want to do it against me too? Because in that situation, even Falstad could join. Like, it's really scary to fight in a situation where you can't see the entire enemy team. And Brightwing sort of just made them question what they were doing. So good job overall.
Yeah. Again, Young Woody pushing this bottom lane pretty hard. And it's surprising because only the for as much action as has happened in this bottom lane, only the two towers and the gate are down on FSU's side, and nothing is down on Woody's side.
Yeah. There have been a lot of heroes in this lane, but you're right. It hasn't been a lot of action really. And Dumming and Slambo here now just trying to zone out the turn in, and FSU will get their cannon turn in. This is going to blow up this mid fort, and they're going to start to get mileage elsewhere
Young
now
Woody
too.
getting caught out on the bottom. Beautiful flank by FSU, and they're going to pick him up quick as the chests spawn.
Yeah, the youngest Woody, like
The youngest
young
of the
Woody.
Woodies.
Yeah, he is the youngest of the Woodies, and he goes down there. I want to point out two things really quick. Pyroblast for Kale, Isolation for Dahaka. We haven't really seen either, but Dahaka is in a lot of trouble now as FSU rotates in here to the mid there. Oh, the Polymorph clutch
Beautiful,
to interrupt the
right
burrow.
after the stasis comes out. And I mean, that was a really good play by Dahaka, trying to get that burrow in, because normally, especially if you're out of stuns, that's yours, right? You're gone. But didn't quite work out. So FSU's going to try to turn in quick. Thrall and Kel'Thas kind of scoping it out, but without Dahaka, there's not going to be much chance to do stuff.
Yeah, and I actually really like the positioning from Sham there to be like, yeah, I don't have coins. I know I'm Li-Ming, but I'm able to poke people back. And FSU now with this turn in, that bottom fort should be pretty close to dead by the time these cannonballs are done with them. So
Yeah. No, and FSU, regardless, I mean, they've got a few more kills now. It's been fairly even up until this point, just from a team fight perspective. The XP is still fairly close. I mean, we're still within a half level. We're on the same talent tier. But FSU has been doing really well at getting those turn-ins, and this is their third one.
yeah, and at this point, there are no forts left on the side of the Young Woodies, whereas two of the three are up for FSU. So they have a little bit more leeway in how they can move around the map. Slambo's going to do this bruiser camp.
Okay,
And
Philly 2X is sneak turning in right now. He knows that he sees most everybody on the map visible. So he runs in real fast. He had 6 coins, and this is actually a big pickup for the Woodies.
Yeah, that's actually a really good decision to look at the map, try and figure out where everybody is. If you can see everybody, and he couldn't actually. He didn't
was
know where
missing
Tallahassee
2.
and Slambo
Yeah.
was. Yeah, but just based on the positioning, he just made an educated guess, and it paid off in this
It did.
situation. So
This will get them very close to even structures-wise, and they're basically neck and neck XP still. So this has been a super close game, Josh.
yeah, it's very close, and FSU is potentially going to get to 16 first here, but they might not have much time to really take advantage of that because of how close it is. So.
Beautiful jump in by Tallahassee to get that gust right onto Zool, knocked him back, and another nice pickoff.
It's always so dirty when you see someone's health bar like turn gray and just disappear. And when you have four people beating on you, that tends to happen. So,
It
uh,
does. And
harsh
this is
stuff.
another full turn in for FSU, too. They had exactly 16.
And actually, I don't know if they know that
Uh-oh.
Philly 2K is here. Well, now they
Now
know
they do.
because he capped it.
He does manage to grab the Knights, but he might be in big trouble. He's going to be running straight into the fort. He knew he was dead.
You almost
There's
wonder if
nothing he
maybe
can
you,
do.
you almost wonder if maybe you just don't cap it right away and just see. I mean, like the camp did nothing anyways, right? It's just
It
gonna get cleaned
didn't,
up. So.
other than it denied it to FSU. But I'm not sure a death is worth a camp deny. You know,
It depends.
and
It
he
depends
lost
on
two
if they were.
coins as well.
Yeah, it depends on if they were going anyways, right? Like if they were going into that night camp anyways, and it looked like they probably were, then I guess it's you could lose both. You could lose a camp and your life, but yeah, I was interesting that he just decided to cap it anyways right away. But we're gonna see FSU potentially try and get a pick mid here. Slambo, ooh, almost connects on
Oh.
Kael'thas. Skeletal mages go down. Shambulance doing a lot of damage. Cartwright actually grabs him. Pyroblast coming in on Li Ming, so unless something happens here, she is going to fall. Wow,
Oh,
no.
barely.
And
It
now the
did keep
Ancestral
her out of
connects.
the fight.
Yeah, and now the Ancestral does connect on Cartwright, and it looks like young Woodies are going to try and turn this around.
Yeah, nice job by Rhaegar to throw that down and stop Muradin, but a Sundering. The Sundering comes out at the same time as the Gust, completely getting negated.
Yeah, and that was actually a really great gust. Talanasi put a lot of damage in on the young Woodies as they were coming in, and then ultimately decided on the gust, and it was the right decision. Like you said, the Sunring basically got negated, and it is on a full cooldown.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it wasn't interrupted. It came out, and that was a much bigger waste than Gust, for sure.
yeah, absolutely. And now FSU, they actually were sniffing out that siege, and now it's actually 3-on-3 here in this vent. But Kale could join and maybe turn the tide. They reluctantly pull back, but they're going to get this chest. Sylvanas actually got the top chest, so both chests going over to FSU.
I want to point out, did you see how much damage that anchor from Falstaff was doing? Oh no, Talanasti getting caught out in front. Skeletal mages go down, Talanasti forced a barrel roll back, but unfortunately Muradin is completely blown up.
Slambo got absolutely destroyed, just locked down, so much damage. They say don't focus the tank, but if you get the opportunity to pull the trigger like that, it's not a bad thing. And now,
No. Because
young Woodies.
without the tank, you can't really fight, right? You're forced to retreat because your front line is gone.
Yeah, and young Woody's going to clean up this bottom fort, and then it'll be interesting to see where exactly they choose to go from here. They have a lot of options. They could try and rotate to boss. There's not a ton of time left on that death, so I don't know if they would want to do that. But they really need to take some advantage from this.
Dahaka looks like he's going to rotate bottom to stop these giants. They probably should take their knights, as that will get them the 2 coins they need for a full turn-in, and that's probably the most accessible thing on the map right now. But for some reason, they haven't taken advantage of that. They are going to have to come back down because they know FSU has the coins for the turn-in, so they have to engage here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am actually trying to reconnect to the game,
Oh,
so
no.
you're gonna have to take over for
Well,
me
crap's
here.
going on, Josh. Huge
Okay.
fight in the middle. Slambo forced to use his stone skin and his avatar, but he is still getting absolutely melted by Thrall. They are able to completely push FSU off the turn-in, and yeah, they still don't have the coins. Zool is going to go up. I don't know if he's going to do that. He's just going to clear this top out from this night camp push. The Woodies have to kind of keep somebody around the turn-in points still, though, because FSU has 16 coins. They only need 8 for the turn-in. And try to engage again. Dahaka taking a massive amount of damage. Beautiful job by Shambulance to throw his Disintegrate out. The resets come. Dahaka goes down, and now it's a full-out fight. Falstad goes down. Thrall goes down, and this could be almost a full team wipe by FSU.
I got back just in time to see
Oh,
Rhaegar get destroyed by a pink coherent beam of arcane energy.
yeah.
So that was pretty cool. And it looks like Dumbhawk is going to secure the turn in here.
Yep.
FSU all over this game. They have 3 people down. It looks like they may move to end here with these lengthy death timers. I think this is an okay call. I
Yeah.
don't think there's going to be any issues here.
This is a great call. They've got 4 people down still. Zool is not going to be able to defend this. They have a lot of damage. They have the level 20. I don't see any way they're going to lose to this right here. This is going to be a game, Josh.
Yeah, and I think overall for FSU, and you look at your performance, I think that you had a very well-rounded performance from all your players here. Oh wow, but everybody getting so low.
Super low. This is surprise. Slambo pops his avatar, just slowly working on this core. 9% left.
Oh,
the pyroblast
no.
goes out, and he is gonna die. The core survives with 8% left.
I should never
Holy
start
crap.
talking about the end of the game until it happens. So
Well,
that's
honestly, Josh, I thought that was gonna be it too.
and
But they
so-
just didn't have the focus. They decided to attack Zool while they were pushing that tower down. And that turned out to be a bad decision, as that 8% actually cost them a game, and now the youngest Woudys are trying to finish it themselves.
And I think they may have this. I mean, it's going to be really hard for Brightwing to delay it. He actually polymorphs Rhaegar, which really not going to prevent a lot of damage.
Wow.
And wow, youngest Woodies.
The turnaround. This is insane. And there's nothing they can do. That was an absolutely beautiful counterplay. They saw that they knocked out 4 members of FSU, and they made the call. Core guys, we got this. That middle keep is super low. They came in, they got it down, and they were able to end it.
You know what's crazy is youngest Woodies has a player on their team named Not Like This. And I think when they were defending that core, they were like, he was like, no, not like this, boys. We're going to do it. And I can't believe how much damage they were able to put out.
I'm watching Twitch chat right now. And
I'm sorry, Twitch chat. I'm sorry.
Smash. GG crab legs. Well, Smash. Gotta wait about 30 seconds there, bud. Man, I don't think anyone could have called that. I definitely didn't call that. That was so close. And like I said, I feel like Zool made himself annoyance enough that they tried to attack him a little bit. And that probably was the 8% damage.
Yeah, they did waste some time fighting Zool, and obviously I also think, like, and I don't have the replay, and I didn't really see exactly what happened at the time because it looked like it was done.
Yeah.
But I think there was like a lot of splash damage happening from the core.
There was. The core was melting people because they were very bunched up, and as we know, the core does do the splash damage. So
It's a lot too.
yeah,
Like,
it is. It's nothing trivial, and they had just hit level 20. So yes, they're very strong, but they're not quite at that level 23, 24 like invincibility mode yet.
Yeah, and I want to give a big shout out to the young Woodies, and I don't know who their like macro level shot caller is on their team, but as soon as that wipe happened, they had the game in their hands and they could win it, and I'm just glad that they had that confidence to end it.
Honestly, a lesser shot caller would not have made that decision. That was a split-second decision. They looked at the death timers. They saw they had 4 down, with one of them and the only one left being Brightwing, and they said, "We can do this, guys." And they just ran for it, killed the keep really quick, and they actually got the core down before FSU even spawned back.
Yeah, they did a lot of really smart things on their way in also. Cartwright on Dahaka instantly, as soon as they got to the front wall of the keep, he started immediately auto-attacking down the side wall. You don't need to kill the towers. So you do need to kill the keep, but you don't need to kill the towers. And immediately he had brush stalkered forward. He immediately started meleeing down those sidewall, and they just broke through the sidewall, keep, core, end. And that you have to have that sort of decisiveness. Like, the towers are meaningless if you're going to core. So good call from that entire team.
You have to have the one keep, but that's it.
Yep.
You don't need the towers.
You
So
also
no,
do need the fort on
you
that
do
lane
need the
too.
fort,
We should
yes,
say. We
but
should say
all
just
the
if you're
forts were down.
yeah, of course. If you're watching this though, don't try and do that because you do need the fort and you'll
Yes.
feel really bad if it happens. It used to happen I guess more often on I used to see it on Garden of Terror where like the Garden Terror could sort of get through and
Yeah.
then people would like try and but no, you need the fort, guys. You need the fort.
Yeah.
But yeah, great job by young Woodies, honestly.
No.
Yeah.
Who would you say MVP of that game? Josh. I honestly I don't, and this is nothing against young Woodies. I don't think anyone necessarily stood out. I think it was just an incredible team play by
Yeah.
him.
I
To
mean,
be completely honest.
I think that I would give it to probably not like this because he actually did a lot of damage. He
He did.
avoided dying. And honestly, Kael'thas, for the most part, the plays are not flashy because it's Kael'thas, so you're just you're like bombing people and you're trying to land a flame strike. It's not, it's not like tracer levels of flashy or
Yeah.
Falstad levels of flashy. But the Kael'thas was very important to their team in order to win the game, and not like this did a good job. I also, and I want to say this but I am not certain because I didn't actually see what he did during the last core thing, but I have a strong suspicion that Not Like This did a lot of damage when they were defending their core.
Yes.
And that doesn't surprise me given the positioning of FSU, and additionally the fact that he has so many ways to be enabled. He's got Thrall Root, he's got Zul Root, he has Drag from Dahaka. So there's so many great ways for him to make sure he lands big flame strikes, big chain bombs. And it's Kael'thas, and you need to have that confidence in your player who's playing him because they did prioritize him.
Yes.
So great job from Not Like This. I think I would have to give him the nod.
Yeah, and honestly, young Woody on Zul, almost 150,000 siege damage.
Yeah,
That dude was rocking it on
it's
the
easy.
siege damage.
It's easy to sort of call him out because he did get caught out twice in the bottom lane. But at the same time, like you're right. He decimated the wave. He was constantly pushing.
And honestly, he was probably the reason that youngest Woody's core stayed alive. Honestly,
Yeah, that's
there
the-
at the end, because he was the only one up.
That's the other thing. I think the Zul like curse strikes probably got a lot of mileage in that one section. And sometimes like obviously it's your decision who you attack. Except actually there's nothing that forces you to attack somebody right now, right? So it's you get to choose what you attack. Like, you can choose to attack the core, you can choose to attack Zul.
Yeah.
And
Zul made himself annoying enough
yeah.
that FSU took some time to attack him. And because of that, they ended up with 8% left.
And you can do things to make yourself more threatening. Like as Zul, like if you could hit the whole team with your curse strikes, that's really scary and people want to either CC you or kill you.
Sure.
And I think he understood that his role at that point was just to buy any percentage on that core, and he did it. So
yeah, I mean, we called it game there. So that was that was crazy. You don't see that often.
We have Cartwright in the chat saying he misclicked health regen instead of agility.
Did he?
So yeah, I thought that was a bit weird, but then I thought maybe it's just like a stylistic thing, especially on a map like this. I was like, kind of weird, but misclicks happen. They happen.
They do. They really do. Well, guys, thank you for joining us for our unsanctioned chair league game.
Yes.
Sneaky.
Please don't sign the guest book because this is all strictly off the record.
Except Super Jovo is here, so GG guys.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, how's it going? Nice.
There it goes. But yeah, guys, thanks for joining us. Thanks to Sham, the FSU guys, for asking us to cast their game. It was a ton of fun. Super close game. Like, I love games like that. It's so much fun to see. If you want to see more of us, you can click the follow button below.